Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for showing an interest in and/or requesting that your state or historical institution receive a George Washington Witness Tree of Delaware to make a new home with you. Tonight, after we watch the story of saving the George Washington Witness Tree of Delaware, we are going to have a very short presentation on the American sycamore tree itself and its general care. All the information on the topics covered can be retrieved from Yale University, Monumental Trees, the City of Kokomo Parks Department, the United States Department of Agriculture, the United States Forest Service, the National Park Service, and the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. All these links used and the materials will be posted at the end of this presentation. As you can see, the George Washington sycamore trees of Delaware, the 3 cuttings that now exist as their own trees, have grown considerably since I took them last year. In fact, as you can see in these photographs, they have not just grown considerably, they have now outgrown their former specialty terrariums. It is now late winter and early spring, and those of us who grow up in farming communities know it is now time for planting. The good thing is, this year, to plant them, it is simply myself with the tree, a small bucket, and a shovel. Unfortunately, next year, it means it's myself with a crew with a backhoe and a crane to put it in. So as you can see, time, unfortunately, is somewhat of an essence, and we must work quickly. But before we talk about that, what exactly is the American sycamore tree? Well, it's a type of deciduous tree. When they reach their full maturity and size, they're usually about 75 to 100 feet tall, and they are one of the largest deciduous trees in North America. They require full to partial sun. Their preferred soil is well drained and constantly moist. The soil pH that they like is about 5.0 to 8.0, but truly, these trees are not that fussy, especially about soil pH. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, they grow in zones 4 to 9, and they are native to eastern North America. As we can see from the map, these trees' natural habitat runs from East Texas, through the Midwest states, up almost to the Great Lakes, and then through Illinois into Michigan, across through New York, through the New England states, down along the entire eastern seaboard, through New Jersey, almost to the eastern seaboard's tip of Florida, and then down to the Gulf. If you are in that area that is covered on the map, then these trees are perfect for you. Unfortunately, due to regulations from the United States Customs and Border Patrol, as well as the tree's natural environment, this means I cannot ship them outside of the United States. These trees are very beautiful because they have an interesting mottled bark pattern. The outer bark is brown, but when the bark peels away or in patches, it reveals the inner bark, which is of a lighter or slightly different color. The leaves are absolutely beautiful, especially in autumn, and it has very distinctive seed pods. Not only is this tree beautiful, it also has a fast growing rate. It is pollution tolerant, it is drought tolerant, and because it can grow along streams in the wild, sycamores tolerate wet areas better than many trees. It also tolerates air pollution very well, often found in urban settings, like where the George Washington tree lives. These little trees will do even better than the original big tree has. Wherever it is planted, it must be made sure of that there are lots of space where you're going to plant this tree because they become very big and even sometimes enormous when they are fully grown. Under ideal conditions, which means lots of sun, sometimes called ample sun, and good soil moisture, they can grow 2 or more feet a year in height and several inches in girth as they grow to maturity. In fact, before the tree fell down in 2010, one of the largest sycamore trees in the United States and the largest sycamore tree in West Virginia, known as the Webster Sycamore, which was about 350 years old, was 140 feet tall and had a crown spread of over 100 feet, with an amazing circumference of 28 feet around its trunk. These trees are also very long-lived. Remember, these 2-foot tall little trees from cuttings are already over 300 years old. In fact, the Pilgrim Sycamore in Cayuga Valley, Ohio National Park is about 350 to 400 years old. In Kokomo, at their city park, there is a sycamore stump of amazing proportions. At over 100 feet tall, before storms knocked over the tree, the circumference of the trunk was 57 feet in diameter. Its lowest hanging branch had a diameter of 8 feet, and they estimated its age to be at least 800 years old. Contemporary accounts of horticulturalists from when the tree died placed its age at approximately 1,500 years old. Now, I know the stump in Kokomo, Indiana, and its size is rather more the exception than the rule. However, the neat thing is, perhaps this tree will live on to be at least 800 years old as well. However, it definitely will not grow that large. Saving witness trees, and attempts to, is actually nothing new. Saving the oldest apple tree in the Pacific Northwest was a very neat grafting strategy that worked at Old Fort Vancouver National Historic Site. Perhaps I'm biased, but for me, what makes our little trees very interesting is that they are all 100% original. And they don't look half bad for being 300 years old already. These are actually very important little trees. Not discounting their age, what makes these little George Washington witness trees so important is their primary period source documentation. It's really amazing and shows how important George Washington is to our national identity as well as our country's founding. However, my father used to say, if every sign were to be believed, George Washington slept underneath every tree, slept in every bed, and ate at every table in all 13 colonies. Because on every family vacation we would find 1 or 2 places that claimed George Washington was here. However, as historians and academics, we must look at the cold hard facts. That means primary period source documentation and not supposed folktales count. However, that still doesn't mean I don't enjoy a good folktale every once in a while.